Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me on my breast cancer journey. This is Jamie Williams, and this today is more educational than emotional. Um, I just wanted to make sure I let people know that I'm going through this journey, not only for myself, because I'm sure there are people who are like, why are you putting your business out there? And then not only for myself, but for you, if it ends up being you or someone in your family, um, just so that you can be aware, informed what it is like to go through chemotherapy and breast cancer journey. So I pulled out my pathology report. My pathology report says I have invasive dual du- ductal, invasive ductal carcinoma, and it's called IDC. Even though it is a grade 3, but is not considered 3, and is considered between 2 and 3 um, as far as the cancer is concerned, stage 2 and 3, because of the size. It started out as size 5 centimeters, but by the time they got to me, and by the time I actually got treated and I got my MRI, the size of the tumor was actually 12 centimeters. Um, but I believe now it's probably shrunken a lot since then. But it only stayed between size 2 and 3 because I only had one um, of the cells underneath the arm pit, um, the lymph node. Only had one lymph node underneath my armpit. So I want to introduce you to my care team. My doctor, where's her? Way by. She is the oncologist. She's, let's say, personality, short, to the point. I wouldn't consider her overly emotional. I think she probably sees a lot of cancer patients during the day. Um, but she's part of my care team. She's the first initial point of contact that I deal with. Um, and then from there, I have other care. So you get a care team. I have a nurse. Her name is Carol Dickman. You know, you can call these people any time of the day or night. Of course, I'm not going to, but you can call them for any needs you have. Carol Dickman sets you up for um, different things like if you want to get wigs, or if you want to get be a part of certain classes to look good, feel better. She does that. And this person, her name is Michelle LaMarche. She's in the chemo room every time I see her. She's like the head chemo person, but I rarely deal with her. I usually just get assigned a nurse, and Michelle is pretty much, she oversees everything. Looks like I'm going to be meeting this person next week. Her name is Tracy Tilley. So that tells me the doctor must probably is going to be out of the office. So she's part of my care package, my care team. So not to be alarmed, I'm not going to see my doctor next time. I'm going to see Tracy Tilley. And Ashley Hahn, she's a social worker that works with me and my daughter, my youngest daughter, having a little issue with me having cancer. She will set it up so she can talk to a counselor. Ashley's been great. I every time I go in, I get gifts. I feel like a spoiled child because everybody has different forms of cancer, but for some reason, my cancer has a special angel attached to it. So I get gifts, and Ashley is always bearing the gifts. So last week I got a blanket with socks and um, or um, or people, when they hear I have chemo, I'm on chemo, they send me stuff through the mail, and I appreciate everything. And even if you didn't send anything, just your well wishes or whatever, I appreciate everything. It was really thoughtful. But the nice thing, Ashley is over a class that is about makeup, and you get like $300 worth of free makeup. So it's like, well, I'm going to take it. So I'll be doing that class next week. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about chemotherapy. And what is chemotherapy? I'm going to read it. Chemotherapy is a drug or a combination of drugs given to attack fast-growing cancer cells, which is what I had. Went from 5 centimeters to 12 centimeters. So, from October to February. So that's a fast-growing cancer cell. Chemotherapy is systemic. It affects your entire body. The effect of chemo on normal fast-growing cells is what causes the side effects. So the side effects come because of the chemo. Fast-growing cells in cancer are found in the bone marrow, the hair follicles, and the GI tract. So that's what they're watching all the time. Your bone marrow, your hair is going to fall out. I mean, I don't really know if my hair would have really fallen out if I shaved it first. I shaved the back, it didn't really fall out, but then I didn't shave the front. I tried to save it, and then I washed my hair and it came out. So it was like, that's for another day, guys. I'm going to give you that one, the bald head one, but not today. And then the GI tract, always watching your bowels and making sure that you're eating well, not throwing up, and blah, 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 blah. And I've been very fortunate. I haven't had nausea. I watch myself pretty well, try to drink, enough fluid and watch what I eat. So let's talk a little bit about how chemotherapy, immunotherapy affects your bone marrow. So what are they checking for every time I go in? Your bone marrow makes your blood cells, and therapy makes it harder for your body to produce the cells. So it's a tug of war. Okay, your white blood cells help protect the body from infection. A low white blood cell count is known as neutropenia. If your white blood cell count is too low, you'll get serious infection. So they're always checking you, making sure you don't have a low white blood cell count, because that is what protects you from infection. Red blood cells carry oxygen through your body. A low red blood cell count is known as anemia. Anemia can lead to fatigue, chest pain, and more serious complications. And that's what I have experienced. A low red blood cell count in the oxygen in my red blood cells is low. That's why I had to have a transfusion earlier, because even though I have adequate red blood cells, it's just the oxygen in it is low. And then platelets. This is one reason why I was not able to get chemotherapy, is your platelets regulate blood clotting and bleeding. A low platelet cell count is known as thrombocytopenia. A low platelet count can cause bruising and bleeding. So if you have a low platelet count, you can literally bleed out, because your blood cells have to come together. So if you inject something like chemo in there, it's not coming together, then you could literally lose blood and bleed out. So every time before I have treatment for chemo, I have to have labs that check all those things and all those numbers. And all these numbers have to come up to a certain point. If they don't, then they say either you can't have chemo, or you have to have a transfusion, or whatever. So I have, every time after my chemo, I get a shot called Onpro, Goes in the back of my arm. I'll post it on the website, just a picture of it. It has like a little green light, and when it's time, like 24 hours later, it shoots me full of white blood cells to keep my immune system up. Okay. Because your white blood cells get low after treatment, you get more susceptible to infection. That's why they do that. Of course, call your doctor if your temperature is 100.5 or higher. And now I guess because of COVID, 100.4. So basically, that is what it is like every other week. A schedule of what I do when I go into chemo. I dress comfortably. I eat a light breakfast. I can bring snacks, but normally when I'm in there, I don't feel comfortable eating snacks. I don't know. I'll just drink my water. And I did get a little sneak peek of the chemo room, so you can see that a little bit. I don't want to, have HIPAA come after me. But basically, that is what it is like every other week. So thank you for joining me on my breast cancer journey. Thank you guys so much for your encouragement and your love. I love you guys so much. And I will be in touch with further, hopefully next Wednesday. Have a wonderful day. All right. Bye-bye.